One can't help but notice that, in attempting to clarify its own inaccuracy about the non-gendered pronouns, the Times is forced to refer back to gendered language as the anchoring framework. Wesleyan also offers a gender-inclusive housing option, LGBT TQQFAG PBDSM housing, which stands for, take a deep breath, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, queer, questioning, fluxual, asexual, gender FK, polyamorous, bondage discipline, dominance submission, sadism masochism. According to the university's website, the housing strives to be a welcoming place for non-normative sexuality and gender minorities, acknowledging this task is one of perpetual motion and action, and is a place for people of sexually or gender-dissident communities. Universities are in a spectacular display of one-upmanship on the question of who can do the most to enforce non-gendered language on campus. As the New York Times reports, the University of Vermont spent $80,000 to create a software patch to wipe out all gendered pronouns. And activists on campuses as diverse as Penn State, University at Albany, University of Chicago, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and University of California, Riverside are hard at work in hopes of raising consciousness of the biases built into social structures and into the language we use to discuss them, pressing administrators to make changes that validate, in language, the existence of a gender outside the binary. And it's not just on college campuses that fighting the gender binary means upending grammar. The Washington Post's Civilities columnist got a letter asking how to square a young woman's desire to be referred to by the plural but genderless they. Maybe I'm old school, because I find it odd and grammatically incorrect to say something like, "Oh, they went to the movies this afternoon," in reference to one singular person. What is the right thing to do and say in this circumstance? The response from the Post's Stephen Petro. My first reaction is, wow, this is complicated. But really, it's not. Language is about respect, and we should all do our best to recognize how people wish to be identified, whether it is using their preferred name or a pronoun spelled any which way. In other words, do your best to adjust to changing times and terms, and address people the way they ask you. Petro does admit that this latest evolution of the English language has felt awkward to me as well, as I have witnessed my inner strunken white struggle with what I first saw as political correctness. Clearly, there's change afoot in the language to refer to gender identity, and this clashes for some people with strong feelings about established rules of English. On my Facebook page, when asked for input about this question, many expressed views along these lines. The letter writer needs to follow the rules of grammar and pick a singular. You can't just toss the rules on a whim. But Mr. Civilities attended a seminar at Duke University's Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity, where he learned to become more comfortable about throwing grammar out the window in the name of respect. The Writing Center at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill offers a pamphlet on this very topic. It argues, words matter, and our language choices have consequences. If we believe that women and men deserve social equality, then we should think seriously about how to reflect that belief in our language use. If you're reading this handout, you're probably already aware that tackling gender sensitivity in your writing is no small task, especially since there isn't yet, and there may never be, a set of concrete guidelines on which to base your decisions. Fortunately, there are a number of different strategies the gender-savvy writer can use to express gender relationships with precision. This handout will provide you with an overview of some of those strategies so that you can mix and match as necessary when you write. The first strategy is to use they as a catch-all, despite the fact that that option is admittedly currently much debated by grammar experts. Aren't university writing centers supposed to be bastions of grammar expertise? The UNC Center says, in order to use they to express accurately gender relationships, you'll need to understand